Okay, cursed in the field because hey, where I was driving home from work the other day and I saw a field and guess who was there working? It was the so-called Mexican, the Issacharite, you know, and they're out there. A lot of people won't be willing to do that work, picking those berries and picking those fruit. But hey, Issachar is we just read it, cursed in the field.
Look at all the work we do and the how we're paid. We're underpaid.
Con,
It doesn't
con,
matter what job we have, whether we're working outside construction or indoors, doing maintenance or electrical work. We're all underpaid.
con. Mm-hmm. Go ahead and read it, Ak.
Verse 17. Cursed shall be thy basket and thy store.
Con, the basket is dealing with our food. You know what I mean? That's why we're eating all of these foods with GMOs, and they're not good for you. This is why a lot of your food is really not even food, because of this verse right here.
It's all plastics.
Cursed shall be thy basket, So even the food you eat in captivity is a curse, the Bible says. All right, read on.
Verse 18. Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body and the fruit of thy land, the increase of thy kind and the flocks of thy sheep.
Con.
Cursed shalt thou be when thou comest in, and cursed shalt thou be when thou goest out.
So it don't matter what we're doing, man. We're cursed according to the Bible, And that's why the so-called Latino, Native American, and Negroes are, catching hell in America, Babylon, because we're cursed.
Verse 20. Yahweh shall send upon thee cursings, vexation, and rebuke, in all that thou sittest thy hand unto. For to do unto thou be destroyed, and until thou perish quickly because of the wickedness of thy doings, whereby thou hast forsaken me.
Khan, can you grab Isaiah 51 and 20 and read that? And then, it says, until thou be destroyed, what the brother just read. You see, our people are destroyed. How are they destroyed? It's because, look, they don't even know who they are, They don't know who they are. The women, they go off and they marry the enemy, the Edomite. And, they really want to be the Edomite. And basically, that's showing you a destroyed people, You don't have so-called, well, I guess you do that. But see, the reason why these heathen women get with Jake is because, hey, Jake is the salt of the earth. But, our women should not be dealing with these heathen nations, Because what happens to those women? Their kids not only defiled, but now their kids don't have salvation, Now their kids are going to be destroyed.
And that's what they are. They're kids, not children.
Khan.
They're not sheep.
Khan. Want to bring out the Isaiah 51 and 20?
Khan, this is Isaiah 51 and 20. Thy sons have fainted. They lie at the head of all the streets as a wild bull in a net. They are full of the fury of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, the rebuke of thy power.
Khan, so now that's what you see in the streets. You see Jake acting a fool, man. You just saw Jake get killed last week because he was drunk in a Wendy's, And that's what this verse is dealing with, They're fainted, they lie in the head of the streets like a wild bull in a net, you see? So that brother, he was drunk out of Wendy's and he got harassed by the cops, ended up taking the taser and they killed him, because of this curse. We can go back to Deuteronomy and
this is Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 21. It says, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai shall make the pestilence cleave unto thee, until he have consumed thee from off the land, whither thou goest to possess it.
Khan, so the pestilence cleave unto thee. Well, hey, why do you think the Edomites have told the Native Americans, the so-called Native, the Israelites, Latinos, so-called Negroes, that were the face of the COVID-19 because the curse that the brother just read. You see, it says, "He shall make the pestilence cleave unto thee." So that COVID-19 in the media, they are saying, "Hey, this is affecting the sons of Israel more than anybody else." Read on.
So, verse 22, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai shall smite thee with the consumption, and with the fever, and with inflammation, and with an extreme burning, and with the sword, and with blasting, and with mildew, and with the pursue, and Shalakia, and they shall pursue thee until thou perish.
Khan. And literally, that's what we just talked about. The sword, which is the gun, modern day sword is the gun. So those cops shot that brother in the street. And, the fever, the inflammation, the extreme burning, that goes into all the different sicknesses that we get,
Athlete's foot,
Khan, everything. The COVID-19.
rashes,
Khan.
you have a pain in your backs. That's
Mm-hmm.
all due to inflammation.
Khan. And it's all because why? Because we are under the curses, man. Go ahead.
Verse 23, and the heaven that is over thy head shall be brass, and the earth that is under thee shall be iron. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai shall make the rain of thy land powder and dust. From heaven shall it come down upon thee until thou be destroyed.
Khan, dealing with the missiles, that's a those missiles are going to touch you 2/3 and you heathen, the ones who haven't repented, that's your future, you're going to be powder and dust. Go ahead. 25.
Verse 25, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai shall cause thee to be smitten before thy enemies. Thou shalt go out one way against them, and shall flee 7 ways before them, and shall be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth.
Khan, and then that's what happened to our people. They've been scattered in every single nation. And if you scatter a nation in every other nation, that's going to bring confusion, because now you got all these Israelite men and women growing up in these heathen nations, taking on these heathen customs. And that's why you have Israelite who are Muslims. You have Israelites who say they're Buddhists, You have Catholics, Israelites. You have, because they've been scattered in every single nation. See? You want to go to Job 5:19, Ak?
This is Job chapter 5, verse 19. He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles, yea, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee.
Khan, that's dealing with all of these captivities we've been in, So we're in captivity because of the curses, in 6 of these captivities, these different empires that we've been in captivity under, we've been delivered because we literally died in them. But then the 7th, there's not going to be no bad times to touch the men of the Lord, the ones who repent. And, we don't receive and we don't partake in these plagues that are going to hit Babylon, America. We're protected. The Lord is our defense.
Like a verse from me. This is Psalms 91:3. Surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. I mean that when we get all those everything that's gonna happen, the nuclear missiles are gonna be the last thing that we're gonna have to face. But that's the thing we're not gonna be touched by as the elect men. As those the 1/3 that they're not gonna suffer the burning wrath of the lake of fire, which is coming in the sense of nuclear destruction.
Khan, and it's going to be noisome, like it says there, noisome pestilence. Those are loud, When they hit, the impact is loud, A noisome pestilence, dealing with missiles again, Go ahead, Ak. Deuteronomy 28, we're at 26.
This is back in Deuteronomy 28, verse 26. And thy carcasses shall be meat unto all fowls of the air and unto the beasts of the earth, and no man shall fry them away. Shalakia, fray them away.
So the in a book of Revelation, in the book of Revelation, it speaks about that the fowls, Yahweh has promised the fowls, which is a bird, a feast. And why? Because there's going to be a lot of dead bodies just laying in the streets, man, where these birds, all they got to do is swoop up on them and eat them, and that's going to be a feast for them. Let me see if I can find that verse.
And it's just going back into the law too. We know that these birds, there's certain animals and certain birds that we're not supposed to be eating.
Unclean, yeah.
Because they're unclean animals and they're meant to clean up the earth. They're natural garbage disposals. So that's why he's promising these birds that they're going to feast on bodies.
Oh, it's saying. Salakia, bear with me. I'm just looking for a verse. What verse is the birds will feast in Revelation? Try Revelation 19:17.
This is Revelation chapter 19, verse 17.
Actually,
is it?
Yeah, go ahead and read that. That's part of it. 19:17.
This is Revelation 19 and 17. And I saw an angel standing in the sun, and he cried with a loud voice, saying to all the fowls of the fly, Shalaka, to all the fowls that fly in the midst of heaven, come and gather yourselves together unto the supper of the great power, that ye
go ahead,
that ye may eat the flesh of kings, and the flesh of captains, and the flesh of mighty men, and the flesh of horses, and them that sit on them, and the flesh of all men, both free and bond, both small and great.
Showing you that what did we just read in Deuteronomy about the 20, what was it? The fowls of the air, the carcass shall be meat.
26.
26. The carcass shall be meat to the fowls of the air. And now the brother brought the precept out in Revelation 19 and 18, and it shows you that it doesn't discriminate, man. It doesn't matter if you're a king, a prince, a bum, poor man, a rich man,
slave or not.
You're gonna be
part of that
a lot of
supper.
these people. You're gonna be the supper. What's for supper? All you heathen, all you 2/3. That's what's on the menu,
This is back in Deuteronomy 28 and 28. And Yahweh 27, Shalakia. And Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai will smite thee with the botch of Egypt, and with the emeralds, and with the scab, and with the itch, wherefore thou canst not be healed. And Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart.
And the Lord will smite thee with a botch of Egypt. And if you look up that word botched, it means carried out badly or carelessly. So if you try and do something, you just screw it up, that would be considered a botch. But he's telling you in verse 27, he's gonna hit thee with the carelessness of Egypt. Just like Egypt, old ancient Egypt.
We bring out a precept, because at the same time we're hoping that the elect get sealed. Mm-hmm. This is Exodus chapter 15, verse 26. It says, and said, if thou wilt diligently hearken to the voice of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai thy power, and will do that which is right in his sight, and will give ear to his commandments, and keep all his statutes, I will put none of these diseases upon thee, which I have brought upon the Egyptians, for I am Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai that healeth thee.
So that shows you that the ones who repent, the 1/3, they're going to be redeemed from this earth, and they're going to be redeemed from all these plagues, and then you're not going to be supper. You're not going to be on that menu like these 2/3 and these heathen. So Khan,
Going back in, unless you got a sip, going back
no,
into Deuteronomy 28 and 29. And thou shalt grope at noon days.
I think we're on 28.
I read that one off.
Did you? Okay.
Khan. Yeah, and, I'll read it again. This is
Khan.
Deuteronomy 28 and 28. The Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart.
Khan, and that madness and that blindness is on our people right now, because they're not being prudent right now. They're not considering the destruction that's coming. They don't believe that the destruction is coming. They rather listen to the words of Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, before they will listen to the mouth of God, which is his prophets. Go ahead.
Verse 29. And thou shalt grope at noon days, as the blind gropeth in darkness, and thou shalt not prosper.
So when those missiles hit and everything, this destruction comes, there's going to be a big ass
flashes, man, when those missiles hit, man.
You're going to be blinded by everything, because there's going to be the chariots are going to block out the sky, the sun. The impact of the missiles is going to uproot the dirt. It's going to be everywhere. And then the like the brother said, flashes of those missiles, you can't see when that thing's flashed. Like, it's like when you take a picture
back in the day with
those old school Polaroids or whatever, and you take a picture and the flash blinds you,
or a flash grenade.
That's what this is referring to. And a blind man at noonday groping. When you grope, that means you're just like have your arms out and you're just feeling your way around because you can't see shit. That's we don't know the day or the hour, but we have an idea of what it's going to be like. We know that the destruction won't happen at night, because it tells you right here at noonday. That's middle of the day. It's going to be, the people are going to be literally blinded. Right now people are spiritually blinded, but it's going to be a literal blindness that comes upon these people on this last day of destruction.
Kind of, why? Because they want to be carnal minded, just like Esau. Well, you're gonna have to be carnally blinded too, and feel all that destruction. You don't want to acknowledge that you're being cursed right now and that you're under the curses. Well, here you go. You're gonna feel all those curses.
And these, like I said earlier, this is what we're going in on right now today. We're going in on the curses of our people. All right. This is what our people are facing right now, Verse, go ahead, 30.
Back in the middle of 29.
Huh?
And thou shalt not prosper in thy ways, and thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man shall save thee.
So, even if you get a decent job, or if you get a, you may even have your own business as a Israelite, Jake, but you're really not going to prosper. That reminds me of... there was a brother I knew from school, in high school, and he was, a couple years back, a lot of people were praising him because he was a pastor, and he came in the spirit of Jesus Christ, right? And anyway, I didn't see any posts or anything, any social media with him about his preaching, but everybody was like, oh, I'm so proud of you, you're a preacher, da 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 da. And then, I didn't really think much of it, but then, all of a sudden I'm like wondering, well, I haven't seen that in a while, and I haven't seen him post anything in a while about his church stuff, right? Well, it turns out later on, and this was just recent, I seen a post, and maybe a month ago or so, or actually I guess it's been 3 months ago, but he made a big old announcement. He said, hey, my grand opening is... me and my son are starting a salon, a hair salon, right? He's like, the grand opening is this week. And guess what? COVID-19 hits, So that brother has literally, his business is definitely folded because he didn't even get a chance to have a grand opening. You know what I mean? So he wasn't making no money. He had to pay the rent, So read that verse again, to prosper in thy ways.
This is Deuteronomy 28 and 29. It says, thou shalt grope at noon days, and the blind as the blind gropeth in darkness, and thou shalt not prosper in thy ways, and thou shalt only Shalaki, and thou shalt be only oppressed and be spoiled evermore, and no man shall save thee.
Con. And so even when, that guy who wanted to be his goal in life at first was to be a Christian pastor, and then he wanted to be a hairstylist, and Yahweh didn't let him prosper either way in this on this side, So that's just the example that came to mind when the brother read that verse. But go ahead, Ak.
Verse 30, thou shalt betroth a
Betroth, yeah.
wife, and another man shall lie with her. Thou shalt build a house, and thou shalt not dwell therein. Thou shalt plant a vineyard, and shalt not gather the grapes thereof.
Con.
See that all the time, Mark. It's like
That's a curse that all these Israelites know.
We all know that curse, man. How many of us haven't had a girlfriend or a wife, and somebody else takes her, she leaves you and goes with somebody else?
Con.
How many times do you fall short of something and you're struggling financially, and she can't handle it, and she has a mental breakdown and leaves you because of it?
Con. I mean, we don't have to preach to the choir to get that verse out. Obviously this curse is upon many Israelite men in Babylon, America. You get a wife, and now your wife is with another man.
A lot of times, the first thing you see on that one, just to give another example, because you said we don't have to preach to the choir to it, but hey, man, sometimes you think you're gonna sit there and have something going with this woman, you get her pregnant, and once that kid's born, you guys are already separated. You guys are done. It's a done deal.
Con, that's happened to pretty much all of us. You know what I mean? I know with my last, you want to call marriage, if you want to call it that, that's what happened. I literally took my 8-month-old baby and left. And she was, but it wasn't because I wanted to. It was because she shut down on me. You know what I mean? So, she just shut her spirit down, and I was like, all right, I'm out. Yep. Go ahead.
In Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 31. The ox shall be slain before thy eyes, and thou shalt not eat thereof. Thy ass shall be violently taken away from before thy face.
And what happened to the Gadites, the so-called Native Americans? Yeah. Their oxes were taken violently from them. Their animals, their land, everything that this verse just read was taken away right in front of their face, and they couldn't do nothing about it because they were dealing with the Edomite, who his blessing is the sword.
God.
Look
what they did to all the buffalo. They came and just slayed it in front of them. They slaughtered entire herds of buffalo just for their hides and just left the meat to rot there.
Con. And that's Esau's spirit, because our people were hunters, yes, but they used everything that they hunted. They used the entire buffalo.
You used what you were going to eat and use. That was it. You didn't go and do it
for sport.
For sport.
Like they didn't hang trophies in their teepees, like these Edomites, You walk in some of these Edomites' homes and they've got, animals, what do they call them when there's trophies? When they put them on their walls and they stuff them and it's a trophy. It's a arrogant, prideful thing,
Back in 31, says, thy ass shall be violently taken away from before thy face, and shall not be restored to thee. Thy sheep shall be given unto thy enemies, and thou shalt have none to rescue them.
God, we didn't have no might in our hand to keep what was ours, Right now, if Esau wants to raid your house,
they'll go raid you.
You can't do nothing about it,
What was that video I just sent you about that sheriff in Texas?
Mm-hmm.
This morning, did you watch that video?
I didn't get a chance. I was at work.
Tulsa, no, it's not Tulsa, Oklahoma. It was a little town in Texas. This guy, it was a sheriff in Texas, and they put him as an undercover officer, no training, no nothing, and he just went and took down names of all these so-called Judites, and then rounded them all up, did an indictment, and he claimed that every single one of those persons had sold cocaine to them. Had no evidence whatsoever, nothing. He just wanted to
Raided
get
him.
paid. He went early one morning and took about 50 of them into custody, giving them like 80, 90 years in prison. I was like, man,
That's Esau. You know what I mean? Like Esau does what he wants, and why? Because of his blessing, the sword. You know, we have no might against the Edomite. We can't. You know, we can't stop the Edomite from pushing his agenda. The only thing that can stop him is Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem, and he's going to be our defense in these wicked, evil times that we are. You know, we're right at the doorstep of. You know. Go ahead, Ak.
this is Deuteronomy 28, verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thy eyes shall look and fail with
Longing.
longing for them all day long, and there shall be no might in thy hand.
Con, and that happens to us in captivity, and it also happened to us, you know, when you know, Southern Kingdom, they went into slavery. You know, they were their sons and their daughters, they were auctioned off. You know,
Even now, I mean, what do you have? That biggest thing that you have nowadays is CPS.
mm-hmm.
They'll go and take your kids away from you and give them to
Child
foster.
Protective Services.
They'll give them to foster parents.
Oh, I know, and that's the thing. Esau's system is wicked. You know, like they don't care about the. You know, they don't care about the family. You know, literally, our kids. I think we're gonna read up on it here in a little bit, but it says you can't enjoy your kids
At all.
in captivity. Like me myself, you know, right now my daughter's of age to be in the workforce and working. You know, she's working full time. I work full time. So when do we get to see each other? You know, we don't. We hardly ever. So who is she influenced by? She's influenced by all the bullshit that Esau puts out in his media, in his movies, in his you know, news, everything. So that's who's raising our kids is this devil. He influences. It's hard to be a huge or it's hard to be a huge impact on your kids in this society that we're in because of this curse. You know.
I have 4 kids, and I think I've only spent like a year in each one of their lives, and that's it. And they're almost grown.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Verse 33. Shalakia, verse 33. The fruit of thy land and thy labor shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up, and thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed always.
Mm-hmm. So, go ahead.
Go ahead, Doc.
No, I'm just, it says the nation which we don't know is going to eat us up. That's exactly what these Edomites have done to us. You know, they literally have taken away. They took away Gad's land, so-called Native Americans, and they, you know, what does that verse say? That which thou knowest not. You know, we didn't know, like when the so-called white man got to America, our people didn't know who they were. We didn't know their language. We didn't know. That's what they called them, the white devil. You know.
They knew all that came with them was destruction.
And what did they do? Just like it says, you shall only be oppressed and crushed away. So what? How many times have we been downtown in Denver, 16th Street Mall, and you see the so-called Native American just drunk off his ass and really just miserable, walking around. You may see him passed out on the street, you know, or he's in great pride of, hey, I'm a Native American. He don't want to be called an Israelite, you know. Why? Because his oppressor destroyed him. You know, he's crushed him. That's what we just read. Go ahead.
Hear the terror in that, dog?
God.
This is Deuteronomy 28, verse 34. So that thou shalt be mad for the sight of thy eyes, which thou shalt see.
See, but the problem with our people is they're not mad right now. They're not mad of all of these curses because they don't even see it as a curse. They just think this is normal because this is what they've been raised as. They've been raised and taught, hey, you go get a job. Your kids are going to get a job. You're never going to see them. You know, you all of these curses, the majority of our people don't even see them as curses. They just think this is the way of life.
Hey, that's why only the elect is mad. Only the elect knows what's going on, and
Khan,
they're tired of. We're tired of living here.
Khan, you want to
Only
bring
the
out
hopeful elect.
Micah 2:10, and actually this verse reminds me of you, Ak, because you brought it up
I flipped
a
right
few
to
times.
it.
Did you? You flipped right to it?
Yeah.
Khan, that's the spirit.
Okay. And now I lost it. Micah?
2:10.
This is Micah chapter 2,
And
verse 10.
if you could, Ak,
says,
just keep raising your voice like a trumpet so we could get you on the audio.
This is Micah 2 and 10. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted, it shall destroy you, even with the sword destruction.
Khan, so the brother just read it. You know, this is not our rest, all right? But the 2/3 and the heathen, they don't understand that. The only people that understand that are the ones who know this truth and hearken to this truth, because we know this place is polluted, and we know this is not our rest. You know, that's why we don't take pride in trying to be the next whatever. We're not trying to be rich in this kingdom. We're not trying to be buy the biggest house, the fastest car, because we know this is not our rest. And we also know that all these elements are going to be melted by fervent heat, So this is literally, we're still in slavery, man, but our people don't believe that. They think this is America is the land of opportunity, but it's the land of oppression,
God, all you're doing is trying to live a dream, and you can never reach those
Con,
goals that are in your dream.
Well, they say that the American dream is a dream because you got to be asleep to believe it, And literally, these people that do believe in the American dream, they're literally asleep, because even with this COVID-19 and all these cities shut down, what are they thinking? Oh, I can't wait to get back to normal because this is what I'm going to do. I got my goals set on this and that. But yet, hey, this is not our rest. We are still in captivity. This is not the land of opportunity. This is the land of oppression. You see?
Back in Deuteronomy 28, verse 35. Yahweh Hashem Yahushai shall smite thee in thy knees and in thy legs with a sword botch that cannot be healed from the sole of thy foot unto the top of thy head.
Mm-hmm. Con?
Yahweh Hashem Yahushai shall bring thee and thy king which thou shalt set over thee unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, and there shalt thou serve other gods, wood and stone.
Con, and that's a heavy curse on our people, because it says neither you nor your fathers have known these kings who they've set up over the nation. And right now the king is Donald Trump. He's the modern day king, meaning Pharaoh, or king. That means the same thing. But
even their gods, we never knew them from
Con, the Jesus Christ are, the Native Americans didn't you know what I mean? They didn't worship Jesus Christ. You know what I mean? They didn't even know who the fuck that Caucasoid was, It says wood and stone. That deals with the two largest religions in the world right now, which is Christianity and Muslims, You got Israelites who believe they're Muslims, They go and pray on the stone over there in the Middle East, in Mecca or whatever. And then you got wood. That's the Christianity, the wooden cross, So those are the religions and the gods that our people serve, and that is a curse, Matter of fact, you want to bring Second Thessalonians, and I think it's chapter 2 and 9.
I was wondering where it was at. I was like,
were you thinking about that?
I was thinking about that one. I think it's the one you're thinking about.
Let me make sure it's 9. I don't think it might not be 9. Let me go to it, but it's in chapter 2. But let me just find it real quick. The verse I want to get is the strong delusion. Okay, 11.
11. This is 2 Thessalonians 2, verse 11. 2 Thessalonians 2 and 11 says, "And for this cause the Most High shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie,
Con. And go ahead and read the next verse.
that they all might be damned,
Which damned means cursed. Go ahead.
who believe not the truth,
Con, they don't believe in Yahweh Shai. They believe in Jesus Christ.
but have pleasure in unrighteousness.
Con, that's what they have pleasure in, you know.
Do as you will."
Con, we deal with that at camp. You know, we have Jakes coming up and you know, claim, you know, coming in the spirit of Jesus Christ, you know, because why? Because of the verse we just read. They're serving other gods that their fathers never knew. Wood and stone, gods of wood and stone. You see? Go ahead in 37.
Back in 37 in Deuteronomy 28 says, "And thou shalt become," Slovakia,
No, you
says, "And thou shalt become an astonishment and a proverb and a byword among all nations, whether Yahweh Shem Yahushai shall lead thee."
Con, and we go on this verse a lot, man. I'll let you break that one down enough.
What are we called? We're called blacks. We're called Native Americans. Which Native American, if you call anybody, what is it, Indian, because that's the biggest byword that the Gadites have is Indians. You know, as the Northern Kingdom, all that means is a savage,
Con.
the devil. You know, that's all they're saying to you.
They're insulting you, you know, when they call you all these bywords, you know.
What's another byword? You got just what
Latino.
you think your nationality is. Mexican.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Salvadorian, Puerto Rican. Those are just other sorts of it. Chicano, as the brother was trying to bring out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so our people take pride in being these bywords. That's how we read it earlier. They're destroyed, you know. They don't have no idea what this truth is about, you know. Go ahead and jump down to there it is. Jump down to 41, Ak.
This is Deuteronomy 28, verse 41. "Thou shalt begot sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity."
Con, and you know, this is not just dealing with the slave trade. You know, when the sons and daughters were stripped from the families. Also, like I said, now, you know, even if you're you know, you're a so-called free person, free man, free woman, and you're in the workforce, hey, you never see your kids, man.
Oh, just what does employment mean? If you actually go into employment,
the word,
it's a slave. You're a slave.
Con.
You know, so
and a slave to who? A slave to Esau, Edom. You know, you're building his pockets, man.
So if you're a slave and trying to get, you know, this job, you're in captivity because you're stuck there minimum 40 hours a week if you have full-time job.
Mm-hmm.
And then what happens with your kids? They go off, they get to a certain age, and they go get a job.
Con. And you never enjoy them, you know. That's why we say, hey, this is not our resting place, man. In the kingdom, we're going to be able to, you know, we don't even have to worry about our kids, man. Our kids will be able to go to another planet, man, and we're not going to have to worry about them, you know.